but our two special guests from across the seas, Mr. Theophilius Miller, better known as Mr. T.
Yes.
Mr. T is from Manchester, and he has his own mento band, which is wonderful music. And of course, Dr. Lewin, I expect, is familiar to most of you, and we're very glad she's back here to help us. And she's going to be sort of in charge this morning. Going to try and keep everybody under heavy manners, as they say in Jamaica. And I think we're probably going to start with hearing a little bit from Mr. T, or however you want it to go. I know we're waiting for a guitar for Roy, so he can join in on the Cayman orchestra here. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Miller.
Right. Thank you, Heather. And thank you, Dr. Pedley, Cayman, for making it possible for me to come again. And I'm so glad if and when I can be of use. But I'm also very pleased that Mr. T could come, because I think this is what is so important. And I'm going to ask everybody to, well, you are a part of it, as Heather said. And as this group gets together, I don't know how Heather could think I could keep the group on the head of manners. You see, Miss Julia has been instructing T already. But we all make music together, and we would like you to feel free to ask questions and to comment. Because one of the beautiful things about traditional music, apart from the fact that, of course, we who are in it think that's where everything started, whether it's classical or pop, it is something that can keep people together. There's so much that's divisive in this world now, you know, that it's wonderful to find something that can keep people together. And we have had an example of that already, because Mr. T is already playing one of the Cayman songs, and I'm sure that by the time we leave, and you are singing a Jamaican song. So there's that, and I'm sure we're going to discover a lot more links before Mr. T leaves. Right, so Mr. T, can I ask you want to give us a little budget?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I got to do the first figure.
First figure.
continue on.
All right. Give us a
May I
walk.
ask a question? Those 4 tunes were all from the quadrille, is that right?
Yes.
How many figures do you normally have in the quadrille in Jamaica?
First, second, third, and the fourth. Then the 2 other pieces to make the 6 pieces would be a waltz and a mentor. So you can get a waltz now.
Yes.
So you come now, see how you got the bag on, you know. Yeah.
I have a question. With the quadrille, you have different figures, are each of those figures always, say for instance figure number 1, is it always the same tempo or can the tempo change?
Change, not the same tempo.
Oh, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same tempo.
One first figure dance different. The second, the faster figure. Third also a fast one. The fourth a fast one. Then now the waltz and the mental.
But like the first figure, is it always the same speed, the same type of music?
No.
The first figure.
Slow. Dance by the bar. Slow bar.
Okay,
Can you have a quick first figure? Can you have a quick first figure?
Well, they never quick first figure. In the second figure, always quick. Second, third, and fourth. Retreat, fast bar.
So in other words, it would be like the 5th figure, which will always be a waltz, right?
Yes.
Well, the 5th figure, and then the 6th figure will always be a mento.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, what balance the violin now is a guitar. It's very hard for me to play alone.
Yeah.
The guitar balance the violin.
Sure.
I have a band. My band. I would like Miss Lady to play my tape that you all could hear in my band.
Right.
Yeah, the tunes.
How many pieces do you have in your band?
5 pieces.
What instruments?
I have 2 guitar, a bass, and a tenor, and a rumba box, and a banjo.
Oh yeah. So you have the band then?
Yes, I have a band in Jamaica. I have my band. And our band electrified. All of us have this. We have an amplifier to plug into.
Oh yeah.
And the bass and the sound box.
Yeah.
Everything comes through the sound box.
How are the people very receptive to your music today?
Well,
I know it's reggae and all of these different
yes.
things, soca coming in.
Yes, because I play
Your
a
music
party
is still popular?
every week,
Every
every weekend.
weekend, eh?
And I play concerts and all kind of parties all along.
You play reggae too, Mr.
Yeah,
You want to play reggae for us?
right. So that means I have a backup, Mr. Rich.
You got to have a guitar on that radio.
Okay.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want to wait till the guitar comes,
Yes,
yeah?
I
All
think
right.
I will guitar from.
Excuse me, but I would like to share this with you all. Ms. Olween Barnett told me this morning that her grandfather, which would also be Miss Julia's grandfather or great-grandfather, that he made his first guitar or violin out of a birch tree that was made from birch. You know,
Local birch.
local birch
Birch,
tree.
yeah.
And she said that he was just musical minded and he made it and played it himself and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Oh,
The violin.
I know what they call it.
That's where Miss Julia got that rhythm from.
Yeah. Well, that was my cousin. That's my cousin that used to make the guitar, fiddle. He made his fiddle, he made the guitar and everything on it.
You mean husband?
From the body.
Duck sing.
That, yeah.
Or I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, that was first cousin. He
Yeah.
was my grandfather.
No.
He was
That's
first
what
cousin.
I know.
Yeah.
The guitar should be on the right and the left.
But he
Will
was
you
a
want to
violin
change
player.
that, ladies and gentlemen?
No, why do I need to take your seat?
Three articles written about reggae.
Is there a chance, Mr. Bodden, to give me
It's not so out of place as we might think, because reggae came straight out of the Jamaican soil, and it came out of our religious music, which is where a lot of people went wrong, because they looked for the roots of dance music in secular music. But of course, in our traditional religions, the body is used, and you move and you dance. So when the boys in 1962, when we had our
side.
I think maybe you'd like to hear something about Mr. T's violin. And I'm asking some questions about which I don't know the answer. So it's not a setup thing. Mr. T, how old is that violin? When did you get it?
Now, this violin is about 30 years of age.
Oh yeah. You bought it in a shop.
I bought it in that shop.
Let me see if it has anything inside.
Two poles inside.
It looks 30 years old.
Yes.
The writing is erased. Brushed out. Okay, what about the bow, Mr. T?
Now this bow, they have a thing, and the English, the bow that come down with it, right, they have a thing. We still call it catgut, one that made it. But after that one finished, we find out that the sisal can do the same job, or even better. So this is sisal. Sisal. I know. Sisal.
Yes, Mr. Burger.
Yeah, we know it,
First
we know it.
bow was up to the side.
Hold on a minute. May I, first of all, may I recognize the presence of Mrs. Quinlan and tell her we hope that Mr. Radley's spirit is with us today, because we certainly have to feel his support.
Yes.
Sorry he's not with us. We're glad that he is progressing.
Yes.
Please give him our love.
He is progressing very well, thanks.
That's
And you were saying something about Mr. Radley's bow?
Yes, his first bow was made out of sisal, which he made himself.
I made it myself.
Yes.
Some of the bows that come down, Mrs. McConvey can check me, from Britain are made from the tail of specially bred horses. In France it used to be.
That's what they call push.
No, the pussygut is red, is actually it's sheep's gut.
That's good.
They call it catgut, but it's really sheep's gut usually, and they make strings.
You don't call it cat, but you call it push goat.
Well, I must tell you that we have a traditional alphabet in Jamaica. A is for Aki, B is for Donomafe breadfruit, and C is for puss.
Lean in the cat. Lean in the cat.
Yes, Mrs. McConvey wants to add.
I was just going to ask about the bow. It looks like to me that you took the original bow and then you fixed the side. I'm just wondering how you have fixed the sisal to the bow.
Oh.
Because, I mean, I don't know, have you just taped it or?
Well, we strand on the side.
You want to come and help us?
I was interested in the homemade repairs on the
No, follow me.
Strand on the side. Strand like this. Strand. Then after you have that certain amount of strand now, very clearly, clean together, put them all together and tie it around this part now and bring it around this part now and tie it back around this part now and stick with it and then and tip it on. But the real English bow now, they go down inside here and down inside here. But we can't put it down there.
No, that's what I was wondering how you do it.
So we
So just take-
tie it and bring it around.
So do you put the resin, the tree resin on it? On the sisal?
You
Like
rub
would
anything on it?
You rub anything on the sisal?
Yes, the rasam. Have the
The
rasam.
same resin as you
yes,
do on the
same
whole
rasam.
thing?
Yes, same rasam.
Alright.
Same rasam.
Oh, yes.
Same effect.
Rasam. You call it rasam too?
Yes.
So we call it, yeah, rasam. Yes.
Took a long time to realize it was resin.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought it was but there's this rasam is some Cayman here.
Yeah. Interesting. He's saying that the rasam is from Cayman.
Yes, but a friend bought it over here. They call it. Yes.
Made in West Germany.
Yeah.
You were going to ask something
Something else
else?
what you've done to the back of the violin.
Oh, and then
Oh, I see, you've just done a homemade repair.
yes, yes. Yes, yes. I have an extra at home.
Uh-huh.
Well,
This is
brand
your
new,
preferred
a
one.
friend bring from England. But this is the favorite one, the much shorter. It's like
Right.
you said, it's just like your one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any more questions, any more comments? Anita?
So, Mr. Miller, when you play with your band, do you always have your violin amplified?
Yes. It's not long since we get it from about 5 or 6 years back. Used to play by ourselves, just normal as it is. But a friend of mine, a musician, found out that if it amplified, we can play through the sound box and then bought an amplifier. And all of my instruments, guitar, have a bass, banjo have it, and the rubber box have it. And we are now plug into the amps and connect to the box. And it is step far. And
Does anyone say anything
Rise of
concerning
popularity.
the traditional, anything traditional being lost by amplifying your instruments?
well,
Nobody complains about it.
Can I ask one more question? How did you come to play the violin, sir? Did somebody in your family play, or who taught you to play originally?
Well, I believe, no, my playing of violin really come from the Heavenly Father. When I was 7 years old, my grandfather was a preacher, a Christian living man. And when my mother told me that when I was just 3.5, 4 years, she had to tell me and set me down and my grandfather home every Sunday morning at prayers. Grandfather teach me about Christ. So when I was 7 years of age, I realized that Christ can do a lot of great things. And one Sunday when I was eating my dinner and I hear a man was singing and playing the guitar out by the street. And I run out and meet the man and follow the man about 7 tunes, hearing him play guitar, after him turn off. I said, do Papa Jesus. Suppose I stay my life without big man, I can't play music. And when I was around 14 years coming from school, I come to this little instrument and another guitar and bed. My 2 bigger brothers go and buy it, we go and buy them. And I love little violin and I take it up and start to,
So you worked it out for
and
yourself?
actually find myself could play. And I remember, after I can play now, I remember that I did ask Jesus to give that music. Well, my grandfather, my grandmother, come from this tribe of Elliot. There's Scottish people, there was a shipwreck down at Agate upon where I belong to in Jamaica. And there were some sailors come off the ship. One was the name of Elliot, and he go and spread the breed of Elliot. And those Elliots were musicians. And my grandmother is Elliot, so he was coming from the 2 sides, from the Heavenly Father and from the nation's blood.
So did you see somebody else play the violin? I
Huh?
mean, did you, you knew how to play? I'm just interested that you play in the traditional way that a traditional fiddler would play
Yes.
the violin down here.
Yes,
you,
yes.
Maybe you saw somebody play that way?
I don't know, but it's my...
You don't recall? That's how you naturally play?
Yes, yes.
So you taught yourself? You
Taught
never,
yourself.
you never had any lessons or
No,
anything?
no, listen to that.
Taught yourself.
I don't play by note, I play by ear.
How did you learn to tune the violin?
Well, a cousin of mine, when I started to play it, when I started to play it, I have a next cousin that could play it. And he heard about me playing. That time I was just around 16 years. And he invited me. So I would like to hear him play. And when he took my violin, he said, but it's not set at all, not tuned. But he was playing off of my one
Your own tuning.
right. And at time take it from and he tune it. This you know I couldn't not tune from it.
It's a whole song. I can see that.
I was telling you from my voices. Then he take it from after innocent he said yes man it said no no said. After him said thank you me I couldn't not tune from it. I never take me 2 weeks from that. I go right back now in the right tune now and start again.
How old were you then?
Yeah.
How old were you?
At that time,
16?
around, yeah, going to 70. But when festival came in Jamaica first, I said, no, what year? The second year after festival came to Jamaica, my music coordinator at the center took us up as a band and start to practice up to enter festival. When we do enter, when we enter festival in Kingston at Ward Theatre, there were 13 mentor bands. And the ladies, my band in the ladies mentor band. And my band come first. Right? And for 5 years straight my band is coming first. And when after 5 years, the 13 mentor band come down to film. And one of the judges said, them called ladies. One of the judges said, in fact, ladies, anytime you can come to festival, just send the boy you will see. And then the rest of the musicians from them hear that, them kind of start to drop. And the band come up to 5, and I went 2 years more afterward. And so then ladies start to resign now and give the rest a chance.
Were you the only band with a fiddle leading?
No, there were more fiddlers in the band at that time.
Are there many mento bands in Jamaica?
Yes, I've got another band.
Are there any young people learning in the band?
Well, no, sir. Because since this DJ come up now, the younger set now, then they don't hardly know, but the harder people now, they appreciate the mental band because all those Americans come to our part when they're having any function is my band and get it. I like the DJ business.
How many strings you gonna have? How many strings you gonna violin?
4.
4.
And they are
Oh, that you have 6. Cousins have 6 strings on these. They got a big violin. 6.
Yes. I was wondering about the birch, because the old fiddles in Scandinavia would have been handmade out of birch. And, you know, the Harley fiddle has more than 4 strings, so I'm very interested to hear that.
I've seen 5 strings on the violin, but I've never seen 6 strings.
Yes, and they have sympathetic strings too. They have strings that you play and strings that vibrate underneath in sympathy. So that's a very interesting thing. But may I go back to something? Would you please remember what you're saying on the matter of the young people? I'm sure T would like to know, as well as anybody else, that there are a lot of the young people now and the children who really love playing the mentor. As a matter of fact, I have spoken with young people in Potomac areas and they say, why nobody ever told us? You know, they just don't know. And if you you hear our youth orchestra, you can be sure they're going to want to play at least one mentor.
Yes.
They play them on the fiddle and they love it.
Yes.
So I think it's because we have not passed it on as we should have. And I hope that Cayman will not make that mistake. Yes, sir.
I wonder if the birch in the Scandinavian countries is identical to what we have
I
here.
wouldn't know, I wouldn't think so.
It's called the red birch.
Well, I thought so, but I wanted to have it confirmed.
Yes. In Scandinavia, the birch is a sacred
After a
tree.
certain
The traditional
age,
people, no, not back, no, I didn't tell you, area near Black River. And he was playing a large violin, and when I asked him if I could handle it, he said yes. It was heavy. And you know, we are told that one of the characteristics of a violin is it should be light. And I said, what is it made from? And it was just made from a tree that he had found. He went to Kingston, he wanted to play a violin like Mr. T. And so he went to Kingston to buy one. He said when he looked through the window, it was too expensive. But he studied it and went home and built one. And it was heavy, and the proportions were not particularly, they weren't like that. But he could play it. He could play it. But those bands disintegrated.
Yeah. But they're going to come back to them and tell you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
You know what I tried to do, T? I tried to get the festival to ban tapes.
That's right.
Said, don't allow people at the finals of your festival to use tapes. Let them use live bands. Because tapes are all right for rehearsals. But by using tapes, you're really putting the live musicians out of work.
That's true.
But we didn't realize, still again, it's a little late.
Yes, ma'am.
But
I would support that thinking.
so Cayman will make that.
Listen,
Yes.
I would like
Yeah, then just go to it. Heavy.
They will hear.
Heavy.
They will hear. But you know,
Maybe
you
you
want
need-
the live part.
first get out of the yes.
All right, Mr. T, could you play perhaps another type of, another quadrille set using other tunes from the ones you just played? I would really like Mr. Quinlan to hear you.
I don't really, because I played the original quadrille set. I like first, second, third, and fourth.
All right. Well, you want to just play another set then, Mr.?
And then I said at the same time.
Yes, and now you have a guitar too.
Yes, but all right.
All right.
That's right.
First one out. Second figure now. Right, so that part of it has a second. Now the third now can have a slow turn as well as a fast turn. They're going to give a slow turn. tell me why.
What about the fourth? Is it on the fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth. The fourth figure.
Oh, you want it for no? Young polka.
What kind of call it down now?
We call that.
That's what we call the jumping polka.
That's what we call the jumping polka in Cayman.
Number 2 was the polka, and that was the jumping polka.
That's right.
You know,
You say polka like
yeah, you play different polkas, you know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
3 or 4 different ones.
just we have two different types of polka. That is so old that I can't remember polka, polka. So you want the word?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead. I'll follow you because I really don't know too many.
Yeah, that one again.
That's
You
right.
got right. You got to do some machine.
Well, in the bar, 10 pounds and the very key.
30 bucks for a quarter.
Tempos are different too. Some are slower and some are faster. There are 6 figures, and they usually, as well as the 6 figures, complete the dance, the overall dance, with a polka and a waltz.
Right.
So actually it totals 8 dances.
Right.
Thank you. Mr. T, go ahead. You want to say something?
No, not especially. You ask the question.
Any G? Mr. Bass?
G?
G? Any G?
G.
If he knows any.
Any G.
May not be
Yeah, I
that
didn't
name,
know.
you see.
You don't know G, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
You see,
Say
they
why
call
you
them
know,
different things.
I got a G down there.
If I may say
I got a G
something,
down there.
what I recall as a youngster, the G was something the old men and women
Yeah,
resorted to.
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, I beg your pardon, I'm out of order there. Quite proper to correct me now. This is a good time.
Yeah. Well, you go.
This is what they did when they were on the dance floor. And the men, they were pretty happy, you know. Alcoholic beverages, and their feet could move along a little brighter than usual.
Oh yeah.
And the old timers used to like this.
Oh yeah.
And they did it individually, not with partners, singly. And it's similar to the tap dance, I think.
I was going to say similar to the tap dance.
Very similar.
And
Only thing these old chaps got right up on their toes, man,
Yeah,
when
and
they
then
lived
you
on
start
that.
the G, yeah. You know that.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
Well, Mr. Arnold, give him one that you know about, that he
No,
might,
no,
that
no,
he might
I'm
know.
afraid I cannot bring to the attention of this
All right.
group here this morning.
Fire,
Any of the
keep
big
run,
jokes.
boys, run, get them
But
to
I
the girls
remember-
one by one.
It's
And
quite
they
a
just keep
smart
on going
tune,
down there.
very smart.
You can step to that, you know, I'm fine, keep run, boys, run, get them to the girls one by one.
Can you sing it and
Oh, no, that's all I know of it. And I can't sing. I can't sing guitar, I can't beat drum. I know the singer.
Just a minute,
Yeah, that's the
comment,
gist,
please.
that's the gist.
Just a minute. Maybe Miss Lassie, can Miss Lassie make some comments, please?
Concerning the jig, in my young days,
Yeah.
I used to have sad sounds, used to have nice dances, and the older people would do the jig, and at the end of the jig, they would take each other's hand and form a ring,
Ring, that's right.
and then when the ring break up, they would hook their partner and take them back to their seat.
Right, you're right. I was in,
But what was the song you used to play? What was the jig? Can you tell him?
I can't remember.
Can't remember.
I can't remember.
I got one down the back, Miss Head, I got one down, but, T.D. Franklin in that song, in the song. Can't make a lay on these 10 pints, can't make a lay on these 10 pints. I got to keep on now. This is not this is your man.
Boy, came on back next.
Yeah, boy.
We might end up your band.
Is that rhythm familiar to you, Mr. T? Have any songs in that rhythm? Or that is a new kind of...
That's new style. I don't know what to call that.
I don't recall getting that song.
That is more or less the same tempo I was thinking about. What you,
Well, not the
How about Mr. Arthur Nisville dancing it for us?
I was a little chap.
That's what they're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
That would take a lot of energy.
I don't know enough about it. I never did it myself, but as a boy, I was always really dancing. I'm seeing it down at the old stadium.
No, you're missing it. No,
But it was very smart.
Can we please come into this modern world? As I was saying about reggae, somebody asked me please to return to it. People looking for the roots of reggae have looked into secular music, but it really started in religious music and in our revival. And those of us that were close to it at the time, it was 1962, same independence time, remember that it actually started with revival songs. If I had the wings like a
Yeah, like all that they done.
That was a Scottish.
started a scam. It was a conscious effort to rid ourselves of the external influences. But they seep back in the rock music. And then we got rock steady. And we remembered some of those great rock steady people. And then the Rasta influence became stronger and stronger, and it evolved into reggae. So, you know, looking at the deep roots is that. Now, some people say it came from Mento, but if we listen, we can hear that Mento has a strong beat on the fourth of the bar. Da, 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 share your comments with us? Doesn't matter. Maybe it will be something very special. Not really.
No, I can remember what was called in Cayman the kitchen dances. As small children, you would be outside while the adults were inside dancing, and this is the type of thing that they dance. But I can't remember ever hearing the jig. Or seeing it, I should say. So I can't really comment on that at all.
Oh, well, you have told us about kitchen dances.
The kitchen dances, yes.
And that, do you remember any kitchen dances that had the jig? Or was it a jig or a jig?
Jig.
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 I understood to be a G.
Jig.
J-I-G.
Jig.
Spell it.
And the other one is GIG.
No, but there's a jig, is another kind of dance.
Well,
Similar dance.
this was mostly done by the elderly folk too,
Right, yeah.
principally, the old timers.
Old time.
Was it a part of the kitchen dance?
Kitchen
Yeah,
dance.
not kitchen dance.
Yes,
Part of the kitchen dance.
Oh,
but you
yeah.
have-
a kitchen dance or a public dance too.
Whatever the
When it
spirit
was
of
in
the
Danny, it was a what you call a stage. Maybe you could
There
do
was-
stages.
They built their stages, you
next
know,
stages.
on the side, but they
My
couldn't
dad
very well
was
get
kitchen.
along in
My
the
dad
right
was
side,
kitchen.
so they put a stage down.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry,
I think
this
it
is
was
Quinlan.
much more popular in the north side area though, where it was frequently performed.
Where was your experience from?
I'm sorry.
Where was your experience from? You said you hadn't seen the jig.
Well, here, I
In
don't know.
the- what part of Cayman?
And mother was a very strict
I didn't.
She didn't allow us out. And so
The
we
stage.
had to steal, it would only be if the neighbor.
Sorry, can we just listen to what this lady is saying?
It would only be if the neighbors were having a dance, and there weren't any near neighbors either. And we would steal away through the bush and go and watch them. But we weren't allowed to go in. That
So
was
you're-
in for the,
So your experience would have been limited.
yeah, very limited.
Yes.
And what is the strip? She was asking. What part of the island?
I'm sorry,
What part of the island?
Pedro, near to Bodden town.
I think this is what has limited the music in Cayman. The youngsters were not able to participate.
That's right.
And so the
Yes.
older folks were
Yes.
shut away actually.
Yes.
And the children have grown with it.
It was a case of children could be seen but not
That's
heard.
a larger community. Yes, yes.
Well, that was not the way in South Sound. When the parties was there, the parents brought the children enjoyed themselves as well as the grown-ups. And if they couldn't get in, they danced on the outside, the ones that wanted to dance. We had a musician there, Nurse Maurice Hurlston, I guess some of the Caymanians knows her. Her brother Isar was a good fiddler. And we had our drums and a guitar, and we had the grater. My brother used to play the guitar, and it sounded lovely.
Oh, yeah.
And with the jig, when they started the jig, the men would jig almost on their toes, jump like birds. That's how they kept going until they felt like taking their partner to dance around. And that was it.
Isn't this interesting that although the distances are not very large, there's such difference in style and in experience,
Right.
attitudes.
Right.
Mrs. McLaughlin, thank you, ladies. Thank you.
I would like to ask, how many different groups would be playing? I mean, the implication is all these different kitchen dances in different parts of the island. Were there, like, fiddlers, for instance? There was, your grandfather was a fiddler. Your cousin was a fiddler, Mr. Bodden.
We call him ducks when he was late.
Late boat.
Alison Ebanks is great.
I remember Alison telling me it was grand. I was wondering if it was the same
That's
person.
Alison grandfather.
But then there must have been other fiddlers as well.
We are Montgomery
they didn't
Albert
just go to the same.
and Tim Jalbert. Montgomery Albert and Tim Jalbert.
Osborne Barnett.
And Osborne Barnett.
Lee was Barnett.
Does anybody else
And
have?
they're forgetting the
Osborne
most
Barnett.
important one,
Osborne.
most popular,
Yeah.
Joshua Hydes.
Joshua Hydes.
That's it.
An old fiddler.
And then boy Hydes. Oh, that thing. He had the thing.
So they were all in West Bay now. Most of the fiddlers
They're
were
all West Hills.
because all those names were West Bay. But the other
Mr.
districts
Banks?
had them too.
Mr. Banks, can you give us some?
Well, what I've been told, I mean, each of the districts had their little groups.
Yeah.
I mean, some districts might have had more, like West Bay and maybe East End. But as Miss Lass, your cousin Lass, he said, I mean, there was some in
Yeah.
South Sound, which was just a kind of offshoot of Georgetown, but Georgetown had fiddlers or their groups, and they would get together at boat launches, or at the kitchen dances, or at wedding parties, or if they just had a special concert, or their garden parties too.
Can I ask something else?
I never heard of
Miss Julia? Miss Julia, in West Bay, because you know the people in West Bay, what happened to their instruments? What happened to the violins that they had? Do you think that families still have the, because it's not something you throw away?
No, they would my cousin sold his violin. He sold it to a black man. And guitar, I don't know what he done with the guitar. He made all his instruments his own set. He made drum, he made the guitar.
Do you think there are families that have them? Do you think there's families still in Cayman that have their old instruments in a cupboard
I
somewhere?
couldn't tell you. I don't even know what man it was he sold it to. He came and bragged because when Loxley, he went got married, he called for me and Doug Sickett, played boring. He played the dance, and I told him that Doug had sold his violin to him and black man. He had get up playing then and sold it to him black man. And when no good that we won't go in the drum.
Well, the discussion is getting very lively and more interesting with time, but time very often controls us. I don't know if Mrs. Quinlan has anything that she'd like to add to that. As a final comment about the fiddlers.
Just a continuation on the comment about the fiddlers, I think because of communication, at that time the communication link wasn't as good as it is today. And so you had these groups developing and they stayed very much within their community.
That's right.
But I think one of the biggest things was the boat launching when most of them got together.
Yes.
And I think also too many of the old songs are built around the boat launching business.
Well, thank you very, very much. And I'm going to ask Mrs. McLaughlin to say what's happening now.
I think that these folks have been working very hard, and we certainly appreciate all the comments and the questions. This is exactly what we hoped would happen. The ladies back there have some refreshments for you. If you'd like to take a short break, there's hot beverages, cocoa, coffee, and tea, and fruit juices. And
No. I got that. I got that book called which was a clip
Yeah.
in the 40s.
So this is from in the 40s.
I mean that was old then when I got it from him. I don't know how old it is. But this is my label.
Yeah,
this is what I made.
You made this one. That looks good.
This is what I made.
Here you go.
Yeah. This looks like the size.
No, that's the real old Danton, because I tell you what, I used cycle when I had it put, and it cut away in a couple of months. Well, one time I had a little dance, and it was a hat, and the cycle all cut away, and I was playing with the loan stick, the loan stick can wood. You know the wood called can wood?
Yeah, I can.
Well, I was playing out with the loan can wood.
Excuse me.
play anytime. And we might do that for Mr. Hurlston.
think we'll be able to get. I'm gonna put her.
But you are coming to the left, I remember all.
I think you're suffering from the same
Do you know who made that song? No. You heard about John Hill Bodden?
Yes.
Huh?
I know the gentleman.
That's why you know him.
I said I
Will
knew
Bodden Bodden?
I knew him.
He's the man that made that song.
Oh, John Hilbert.
John Hill Bodden, I got to go to home to know.
But that wasn't yesterday.
No, it wasn't yesterday, no. Wasn't yesterday. I don't know. Not keeping up with it.
They're blocking each other.
But Harley, do you know that one about the
Just take the chair out the center and then be fine.
years old? Here's an apple pie he bought and she cut it divided. No, you say that. I know it, but I can't say it. The apple pie he bought and she cut it divided. He had it. A portrait, she got it, he it. I ain't said they junked it. Take it, settle it.
Come on now, somebody wants to get on.
Roy can stay there.
Another session.
Roy, just go ahead and stay there. That's fine.
Mr. Miller is going to need a guitar on his left.
Oh.
Can you come here a little?
But what, did he tell you anything about dying? David, he told you that day, Bob, fine. Did he tell anything about dying? I don't
Any comments from the floor? Any questions? Please, we have just a few more minutes. Let's make the most of it. I don't think there are many times when we have the privilege of getting a group of musicians like this together. And I think we should make the most. Yes, Dr. Pedley?
I would like to ask Mr. Hurlston and Mr. Miller perhaps to say something about each other's style of playing. Maybe a difficult question, I don't know, but it seems to me to be an important question. Do you seem to each other to be playing similar kinds of music, or can you hear some differences, or can you just comment on the style of fiddling that you're hearing?
Well, I guess I like to that myself when it's like high, and it's a little different thing. Only that you can play a little better than me. I don't know, but actually, I can sing a little, but I'm not a professional. I like to tell my
See, going down into what you call in the cells and all like that, that's how you can do it. I never liked it.
Anyway, you're better than many people.
It shows professionalism when you can hear him playing and right off you could join in the key. It shows that you're a professional.
Well, I say anything like that, yes, but he's got a better touch as far as so on and a professional playing than I am.
Because I'm a bit older than you.
Maybe. When you made it.
When I made it.
No, they older than me.
When I made it. Just a while ago.
You are what are you born?
Yeah,
My age, I'm 97.
96?
And you are about 15 or 16.
Yeah. No, I made two figures that I don't know whether I'm going to get one of those figures.
Yeah.
7 and 9.
7 and 9.
7 and 9.
That's what I was in January.
7 and 9.
January 79, January. I was 85 in January.
Yeah, so I don't know whether I'm going to get one of them figures.
No, but don't know. No, but don't know.
Mr. Banks, you want to say something?
Yeah. So you do feel a strong connection between your styles of music. You would say so. It wasn't really who plays better or who plays different. It was. But do you feel? Mr. Miller is from Jamaica. You are from Cayman. Do you feel that there's a connection, a strong connection?
And I assume this too, you know. It is only that I believe 2 or 3 in the island Grand Cayman to play it. And the other dear old brother or father which is sick. I don't know that there's anybody left. Many used to play the violin in Cayman.
I think all day.
That's what I'm saying. There's only 2 of us left.
Mr. Radley is good now, but he's sick.
Yeah, well,
He's the number 1 player.
I was just wondering,
I think the
so tell us about
Rose children
his
are learning to play the violin really well. Mr. Winston, Rose, 2 sons are learning to play the violin really well.
Mrs. Quinlan, you want to say something?
Yes,
that's correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Mr. Val if he would tell us like, when he started playing and anyone taught him and about his violin.
Oh, well, my first little one, as I say, that I made it in the shape of the guitar. That's how the guitar is just exists. And my cousin Zah was a very good violin player. And he was the first one who showed me my foot position, which was a hymn on the violin. Holy, 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 holy is the Lord. And I went on that. Well, my grandfather was a violin player, a fiddler you would call him in those days. Of course, I just remember barely seeing him. He died when I was just 2 years old. But it makes me don't understand he was a good fiddler. And I had a sister who was a mandolin player. So I fell in love with music from time I come to knowledge. Because
So you had a lot of
I danced all over the floor without playing mandolin every night.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear how your grandfather learnt?
No. Well, most of the old players just picked it up, so nobody never ever learned.
You learnt it here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Miss Lassie was making a comment in the break about someone who played when you were young.
He was a Kent Rankin. His father was a school teacher in South Sound. It was a family of them. Mildred, Murray, Anna, and Rank, and Kent. Kent played a violin beautiful many a night. He played for a dance for my brothers in my house.
And that family was from Jamaica.
That family was from Jamaica. He went on to New York and started a band of his own.
And didn't at least one of his sisters, if not two of them, teach music lessons?
Oh yes,
sometime?
Mildred Rankin taught a day lesson also and a day school, and she taught music, vocal and instrumental.
So that might be one way that some Jamaican influence.
Oh
might
yes,
come
they were a
into it.
beautiful family, very lovely people, Christian people.
Anything else?
Yeah, a little bit more about your violin. How old is that?
Oh, well, telling you, I made this about 8, 9 years ago, in the mid-30s. I can't remember exactly what year, but somewhere in the mid-30s. I'm believing I made it before my brother John died. He died in 1926. So I'm not too sure.
Quite a while.
Yeah. It's round because I know I used it.
What kind of a wood, yes.
What
I
kind
used
of
it
wood?
made from.
What kind of wood?
That is out of a cedar stump, I suppose, it in date 200 years ago, maybe more, from up in the Cayman up in the.
Mr. Hurlston, do you use the sisal for the bow? What is your
Well, that's what I had first when I first made it, but it couldn't last long. You see, it's not like I don't know. They say this is camel hair. I don't know.
camel hair?
This gone up to don't know what I don't know, but it couldn't last. When I made it out of the sisal first, it only lasts maybe a year or so.
Yeah.
It can't be very. No, it was the heat on the string. It just cut it away. Because as I told the folks there, I had a little longer house all the way there, and the sisal was all cut off it, and I had a little dance down there one night, and I played with a lone stick. This was what you call a can wood stick that you can see no rhythm on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it is many people around those that wood up and down there.
So you don't realize like that?
Yeah, but
Why should a can wood stick and play on the string without it?
well, I had the stick made out of can wood.
That's what I mean.
And the string was all, the sisal was all cut away.
Yeah, but
so
you
I
played
continued on with the lone stick.
you played the stick. You still played music though. I'm making one myself. I'm interested in that too.
That is true. I can't do that to that.
Kind of drummy, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of wax.
Someone is asking, sir, what that bow is. The one that you're playing with now, is that a bought bow?
Well, I didn't buy it. Someone, I was a fella from, you know what the park. But I got that from the park.
Oh yeah.
Which is a
Yeah, anyway.
distant family of mine. See, it was broken. I don't know why. I patched it over and stick it better.
No, Ozzy the engineer.
Yeah.
Or the park.
Wasn't there?
You mean,
You know what it is?
I believe.
Yeah, I think
mean,
he's gone. I think he's gone, yes.
Yeah.
He's gone, but he just died recently. I was just
been a long
less than 10 years ago. Yes, he's name.
he never did come back. He never did come back.
But I don't know that part.
No, he never did come back. His mother told me that.
I know that he
His
lived
mother
in
was
Jacksonville.
dying
for
to
like
see him.
7
She
years.
died and she never did see him. Yeah, he been gone.
Yeah, that's where I got that.
Yeah. But see, his grandfather was a great violin player, Thomas. Hydes, great violin player. Yeah.
I have reason to believe that that could be so.
Oh, no, great violin player.
I don't know, I danced with you, but I know when it.
That's Kathy's great grandfather.
see how much there is to learn about music in Old Cayman and make it music in New Cayman, I hope, because you have the living links, which is more than many countries have. Many countries will be very envious, and the practicing musicians here obviously have a pool from which they can draw inspiration, and I hope that you take advantage of it as soon as you can. Can we just have one last piece that perhaps...
We have time for about 3 or 4 more. We have
All
about
right.
10.
Okay. Yes?
Just before they get going, how many fiddlers you usually had in a band at any one time? Just one.
Not as I know, I never know.
That's all I've seen.
Is there any special reason for that?
Well,
Is it due to the lack of fiddlers, or for what? For what that was the tradition?
I don't think it was a lot of fiddlers.
I think they
No,
had
indeed.
other instruments like the accordion
Yeah.
and that accompanied the fiddle.
Fiddle was the
But the
lead.
fiddle was the lead.
Is that
Yeah,
the
it was
same
the
in
lead
Jamaica?
music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was also a question, Mr. Bell, Anita wanted to know what tools you used when you made your
Do you
practice,
still have them?
and do you still have them?
Well, I won't say that I've still got, but as I said, that's been a long time for me to remember. The tools that I done this with, I know was long, but the tools really wasn't mine at that time.
And what were they?
He died in the same mistake. Well, chisel and saw, I can't even, but I'll tell you another thing. What it is put together with was stuff with glue that you had to boil in those days. I got that glue from a man with a bush. Stick that one together. I had her all dug out, and she was too deep and she was finished, and I cut her off and made her the depth that she is now. This whole piece here is in one. Whole round.
That's better than
Dr.
crazy.
Perry?
That should be crazy.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm still with that, but you.
That wasn't crazy, that was...
No. It was degradable. And he was the only man that I know in Southdown that used to do any of that sort of cabinet work in those days, and that's why I guess he had that. That's where I got that from. He put together with.
Dr. Perry, did you want to say?
How did you know how to make it? Did you have
I
bought violin?
Yeah,
copy?
I borrowed one to take the bottom of it off. Of course, I guess I could have done something out of my head, you know.
And the one that you borrowed, was it a bought violin or somebody else?
No, I was what you call, but nobody never hardly made any, and there was the one or two I know tried it, and that was what you call the ready made. But I had this varnish, and the varnish was still in the sound door, and when I was sailing the sea, the sister got a fellow by the name of Robert Bush to clean the varnish off and polish it, which is now I shown around 45 years ago, since she was polishing, even polishing.
Well, it's wonderful, sir, to know that we have somebody in our midst who did this. Anyone has been to Williamsburg, Virginia? If you see the violin makers there, it's a very, very big attraction in this town that has been built to simulate old-time American crafts. So please, if that could be passed on, it would be wonderful too.
I said so too. That's right.
Yes, yes.
No, that is not bent or anything. That's carved with these old things.
Wonderful, sir, wonderful.
Very.
Not only that, I used to make the hats that out of these Dutch palms. I'm a barber. I used to make my own pants.
Yeah.
And I was as good a half shoe repairer as it was around in my days. But all of that is gone.
And he was telling me that back in the early 1950s, I was just a kid and he stayed with us in New York. I don't remember that, but he stayed at our house.
second fiddle is usually very difficult for people. So there are groups like these where it's one fiddle. It's pretty difficult for two really experienced and brilliant fiddlers to play together. Just as if you have, like in Cayman and Jamaica, you have two types of drums, the cabando and the playing cast. And the cabando keeps up a steady so you could have 10 cabando drums, but one playing cast. Because even if that drum is playing for a particular purpose, because the rhythms for a love problem, for solving a love problem, are not the same as the rhythms for solving a health problem. But each drummer has his own style, and the two of them find it difficult. So traditionally, you only have one playing cast drum. On the other hand, in Scandinavian countries, they have groups of fiddlers, and it is beautiful. It's magical how they blend, and the experienced, trained violinist finds it very difficult to cope. I think we have all here too been impressed with the way these musicians have been able to fall in and play along with each other. But in Scandinavia, you find six fiddlers playing together, but they keep in a group. You know, it wouldn't be group A blending with group B. It would be group A and then group B. And then sometimes you get one piece in which you hear maybe 40 fiddlers, but it's a piece with the same sort of style and harmonization that everybody has in their head. I do hope that some of us here, some of you, will be blessed with the opportunity of hearing this. In these days of technological advances, perhaps the archives can one day get a video, which is the next best thing. Perhaps we could talk about that. Thank you. Well, could you play something now for us, please? You want to let Mr. Hurlston start and see if we can fit in?
Right.
You got one just holding the sound. You got that. Same thing. Monday morning, so you learned that too.
Hold a minute for me. I think Mr. Hurlston
What?
is tuning up. He's
You know what happened? The beat, you fast and then slow, so you know, correspond. The rhythm don't correspond. But I fast on that slow. So I could just watch his feet. You just got to watch his feet.
We have a farmer here that constantly plays. So if he plays slow, we have to play slow too.
You want to play fast on watch his feet. Watch rhythm at his feet.
precious time, I'm sure, for most of us. And I'm going to hand you over to Mrs. McLaughlin. She has some good news for us.
I think this has been a wonderful morning, and I really thank all of you so much for coming. It's been great, and we have it on videotape, so it's for posterity. And not those people who weren't fortunate enough to be here today, they'll still be able to enjoy it. And we want to say thank you very much to the Cayman National Cultural Foundation for giving us these facilities, not only for this morning, but for the rest of Dr. Lewin and Mr. Miller's stay. We're going to be working very hard for the next few days, and we'll be using the facilities here. We really appreciate them. And Mr. Matu of the CNCF has something he wants to present to these folks this morning as a way of saying thank you.
Well, I just want to, I think this is probably the most appropriate gift of Mr. Radley's music, which the foundation produced over the Christmas holidays. So those of you who don't have it and who don't get a complimentary copy this morning, please go and buy it. It's available right up here.
Thank you very much.
This is for us to have it in the archive, so that people who are interested in this music can keep that.